know if I can share it to my page. This is how terrible it is. Nope. Can't even share it on my page. Greetings. Starting to see some people come on the live. See who up on here. See who gonna join the live. Let me see. Greetings. See who gonna join here. As you start to come on the live, please share this live with your Facebook timeline, your Facebook friends, your Facebook community. Please share this live. We're gonna get it in real quick on this Friday. Greetings to everybody who's joining the live. It's gonna be a quick to the point live too. I ain't gonna hold y'all up too long. Just gonna talk about some current events and what's going on. As Black History Month, Black History Month approaches us, I really wanted to touch on this topic real quick. I don't know how many people seen my post earlier. It's kind of like, springboarding off the couple of posts that I made earlier. But let me just go ahead and put this disclaimer out here also real quick. Again, I'm blocked on Facebook again because I got some people that's following me that doesn't seem to be civil and that's full of hate and, who can't talk civil, you feel me, who can't disagree civilly, you feel me, in a civil way, you feel me. They keep reporting my page, so I cannot post, so you will not be seeing me post for almost a week. Again, you see what I'm saying? From some people who follow me who just love to continuously, report my page and get my features blocked. So I cannot post once again until February 7th into Black History Month. So if you don't see me during the week, it's that I can't post, but I can go live. And it's sad, man. It's sad. It's sad. And I'm just going to put this disclaimer out here right now, man. If you can't come on none of my posts and, disagree with me humbly, you should just unfollow me. And you should delete me off my page. Because you're not gonna silence me. You're not gonna change my views. You feel me? You're not gonna stop me from saying what I'm gonna say. You're not gonna stop me from standing on what I believe in. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna stop me from defending the black struggle inside the empire of the United States of America. You're not going to stop me from defending my people and what we believe in and what we stand against. You're not going to stop me. I don't care if you're black, white, Asian, Mexican. I don't care what you are. But let's get these facts straight today. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to stop me from speaking the truth on what I believe in and defending my ancestors and defending the black people here in North America. You're not going to stop me. I don't care how much you love white people. I don't care how much you love Donald Trump. I don't care how much you love the United States of America. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. You reporting my page just because you disagree with what I'm saying and who I'm defending is wrong. If you don't like me, unfollow me. I'm not holding you hostage. I'm not holding nobody following me hostage. You feel me? But the one thing that you're not going to stop me from standing up for my people here in North America, and you're not going to stop me from defending what's right and exposing what's wrong. You're not going to stop it. I'm a struggler. I'm a freedom fighter. You're not going to stop it. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care who you worship. Let's get that straight. Because there's a lot of Africans across the world. There's a lot of black people across the world who idol worship human beings. Who worship human beings. Look me in my eyes. I don't worship no man. I don't idol worship no man or no woman. The way I'm politically, socially developed is that I worship no man, no woman. Feel me? So we're going to get this disclaimer straight today. I worship no man, no woman. I worship no movements. You feel me? I worship no man, no woman, no movements. And let's get this clear. The people that I come from, the freedom fighters that I come from, we have a politically social development that's like no other. You feel me? No man, no woman is above the people. Let's get that straight. No man, no woman, no movement is above the people. Oppressed people. So, with that being said, no leader, no African leader, or so-called leaders is above the people or above oppressed people. So with that being said, no man, no woman who claims to be a leader is above critique. Critique doesn't mean disrespect. Let me say that again for the people who cannot comprehend. Critiquing leadership or critiquing somebody who's a leader is not disrespectful. It's a human right that's coming from oppressed people. People, period. The people are the power. I serve the interests of the people, not a leader. So let's get this clear. So when you see me teaching, giving my observations and my critiques of what somebody is doing or what some movement is doing or what some government is doing, it's coming from a standpoint of critique. There's positive critiques and there's negative critiques. But overall, this is not to offend nobody. It's not to disrespect nobody. So for all the people who can't seem to comprehend where I come from, when I'm making these critiques and I'm giving my observations and I'm giving my opinions on African leaders, African movements, it's not to disrespect. It's not to offend. So you don't have to report my page. Listen, you don't have to report my page because you are worshiping a man or a woman. We serve the people. We don't serve a man. We don't serve a woman. We serve the people. No man or no woman who steps forth in leadership of oppressed people, whether it's in Africa, North America, or throughout the world, is above critique. The people have the right to critique leadership. And so when the people see something that's not right, it's their duty to call it out. It's their duty to critique it. It's a duty. And this is what's bringing me up to the topics that I'm about to speak on today. It's been 100 years since Marcus Garvey, the UNIA, came forth and declared a black government on North American soil and in the Western Hemisphere, and brought forth a flag, a national flag, red, black, green. No one created that before Marcus Garvey or the UNIA, and brought forth the red, black, green, and colors. So all you other movements and nations that have came forth across the world with the red, black, and green colors understand the origin of that flag that you're waving. Whether it's a Biafran flag, whether it's a Republic of New Africa flag, remember this. That flag comes from Marcus Garvey and the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Marcus Garvey created the Pan-African red, black, and green flag. And I'm going to get into that in a few seconds. That's one of the topics that I'm going to speak of today. The second is the origin of the Make America Great Again racist slogan. It's a racist slogan created by the Ku Klux Klan and white nationalist movements of North America. Those are the topics we're going to touch on real quick today. And also some other current news I want to get into also on the so-called deal of the century between the Palestinians and the Israelis. I'm going to talk about that a little bit also. But I'm not going to talk about that too much because that's current news though. But yeah, if you don't like what I'm talking about, please unfollow me. Please unfriend me. It's not going to hurt my feelings, man. But please, I'm asking you, stop reporting my page, man. Stop reporting my page because you worship man and you worship women. You worship leaders. Look here, I don't worship leaders. I don't worship no man. I respect men. I respect women. I respect leadership. And by doing so, I have the right, the oppressed people have the right to critique leadership. See, some of you getting it confused, you can't comprehend. You take critique, you take positive critiques as something that's offensive. No, it's not. No man or no woman is above critique. No man. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you praise. I don't care who your leader is. That's one of the things that Malcolm X taught us all. No man is above critique from the people. This is what the Black Panther Party taught us. No man, no woman, no movement is above critique. As long as it's a positive critique and critical analysis. Not negative to the point where it's bashing somebody or disrespecting somebody or dehumanizing somebody. You need to clarify between those two positions. You have never heard Haki Kweli Shakur disrespect no leader. Then you got human beings who can't comprehend that. They take what you're saying as you're disrespecting somebody or that you hate somebody. I don't hate nobody. Hate is such a strong accusation to put on any human being, is that a person hates somebody. Now, are there people in the world that hate other people? Yes, they are. That's called prejudice. That's called being prejudiced. I'm not prejudiced. No, I'm a scientist. I observe and I critique. New African revolutionary scientist. Let's get it clarified. So when you see me posting certain things, you won't take my post out of character and report my page. Understand that I'm not here to offend nobody. The only thing that's reflecting is your emotionalism. Stop being emotional and read what I say. Read every word that I say. Read the post. Read the evidence. Listen to what I'm saying before you go to the report button. Is all that I'm asking you. And I'm sad that it's coming from some of these Biafrans. I'm sad that it's coming from you. But I don't worship no man. I don't follow no man. And this is something else you got to understand. Most of us here in North America, we are not on the side of no party. We don't support the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. So if Obama can get it, Trump can get it. All 45 presidents can get it. Every administration that comes forth here in America can get it. As long as new African black people are oppressed. They can get it. They get called out. Every last single one of them. I don't discriminate. We don't discriminate as a nation of people here in North America. We discriminate on nobody. And like I said, and to make it clarified once again from the post that I made earlier that somebody reported, is that I wasn't speaking towards that specific leader. I was talking about that specific symbolism. You shouldn't be wearing That symbolism. That symbolism is disrespectful to 45 million new Africans, misnomer African Americans in the Western Hemisphere. If I see any black person flying or wearing the Make America Great Again slogan, you are off code. You is off principle. You are disrespecting the oppressed people here in the United States of America, and you're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting yourself. And maybe it's because you're diseducated. And all of us have some kind of diseducation and may not be aware of certain things. This is the duty of you to get educated on things before you propagandize it, or you associate with it, or you manifest it in your videos, your posts, or anything. You should research that first. That's what I am, a new African historian, a new African researcher. I research stuff first before I support it. And it's a shame that, you know, with all the evidence that's been out here over the last decade, is that you don't know what America makes, Make America Great Again symbolizes. It's a shame that you have black people in the world, but then you have some Negroes. I'm not going to leave them out. But then you have some Negroes who don't even care. They're just pure sellouts. They will side with white supremacy. They will side with white nationalism. They will disrespect themselves. They will disrespect their ancestors, all in the name of getting ahead and to fit in with the white supremacist system. Period. Kanye West, for example. And anybody who flies the Make America Great Again hats, shirts, T-shirts, that's black. They don't care about disrespecting themselves. They don't care about disrespecting their ancestors. Period. But I'm a person that's principled. I'm on code. You have blacks that are on code. You have blacks that are principled and who respects their self-dignity, their human dignity. All of us are not coons. All of us are not sellouts. You feel me? Some of us are in our right common sense mind to know that that's wrong. And to know that that symbolism symbolizes hate towards other people, immigrants, blacks, black and brown people, and other religious background people. Make America Great Again. It's a KKK, white nationalist symbology. Its origin is KKK. And I'm going to get into that in a few seconds. And no, it's not my opinion, brother. And I'm not going to get into this. I'm not going to get into this responding back to comments. That's not my opinion. That is facts. That is facts. But I'm not going to get distracted by that. I'm not going to get distracted by that. Let's get into Marcus Garvey, 100 years of the UNIA. And let me say this for the record. Long live the great Marcus Garvey. Long live the great General Ojukwu, the post that I made earlier. People who stood on code. People who stood on principle with these colors. These colors symbolize a government, a struggle, a Pan-African struggle, a nationalist struggle. It represents black unity, African unity. It represents opposition to white supremacy, white nationalism. It represents our own self-determination. It represents our own, self-determination. It represents black liberation. This is what these colors mean. Not white liberation. These colors does not mean white liberation. These colors mean black liberation. These colors mean our own governments, our own nations. These colors are in opposition to Western imperialism. It's not the friend of Western imperialism. Now, can we be civil? Can we be civil and diplomatic towards other nations that may be imperialist nations? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can have diplomatic nations. I mean, you can have diplomatic relations, but the one key thing of it all is to stay on code and principle with these colors and what they represent. They represent black liberation, African liberation, African unity, not white. Not white. So these colors and these flags should not be associated with white nationalists and white imperialist flags and colors. They should not be. You never seen Marcus Garvey with a white nationalist nation flag with these colors. Go look up every Marcus Garvey picture, every UNIA picture in history. You never seen the red, black, green colors flown with the American flag with Marcus Garvey. Never. You have never seen no Pan-African black liberation movement flying these colors with white nationalist colors or flags. You never seen General Ojukwu of the Biafra nation. You never seen him fly these colors with white nation colors. Never. Because he overstood the Marcus Garvey symbology and the Marcus Garvey movement. He was inspired by Marcus Garvey, General Ojukwu. These colors come from the Western Hemisphere. These colors come from the Western Hemisphere. Period. Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. These colors turn 100 years today. Predates any movement that's flying these colors today. Came from an African in the Western Hemisphere. Period. And it should not be associated with Western imperialism. Period. This means independence for those who can't comprehend it. These colors represents black independence. New African revolutionary nationalism. These colors represents African nationalism. No matter who flies it. That means your main agenda, your main objective for African people is independence. That's what these colors represent. And it does, and the most important thing of it all is that these colors represents doing it yourself. Not waiting on white to give you independence. Not waiting for white nations to give you a nation. Not waiting for white people to co-sign your independence. No, these colors means take your independence. Build your independence. These are the same colors that white nationalism, Western imperialism has destroyed and suppressed for decades. Attacked for decades. Period. And tried to, let me take that back, tried to destroy because these colors are still here. These colors are still here. And they represent a nation of peoples, man. And all other African nations of peoples that's fighting for self-determination, independence, land, nationhood, sovereignty. That's what these colors represent. It doesn't need white supremacy. It doesn't need the approval of white nationalists. It doesn't need the approval of Western imperialism. It doesn't need it at all. Period. This is empowerment for our people. And it's still here 100 years later. 100 years later. So no Make America Great Again should be associated with the red, black, and green colors. Period. That's in opposition. That's white nationalism. This is black nationalism. Period. I don't care how you take it. I don't care if you like it or not. But if I see you doing something that's off code, off principle, I'm going to critique it. And I'm going to speak on it. I don't care who the leader is. I think people tend to forget that. Let me move right along into it. Black August 31st, 1920 is when the first and only time in history that a world black government was created for all African people at home and abroad. This government was created by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the founding parent body of the UNIA ACL. This was during the first International Convention of Negro Peoples of the World, in which our ancestors worked 31 days, sun up, sun down, doing the 5 requirements by international law required to establish a government at that time. Let me say that one more time. The government was created by the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the founding parent body of the UNIA ACL. This was during the first International Convention of Negro Peoples of the World, in which our ancestors worked 31 days, sun up, sundown, doing 5 requirements by international law required to establish a government at that time. First, out of the 5 requirements were August 1st, 1920, 100 years. 100 years. We've been here a long time. This struggle has been going on for a long time. And this struggle is still here 100 years later. August 1st, 1920, the Plebiscite. Key words, the Plebiscite was done, in which over 25,000 Africans packed the Madison Square Garden in New York City to express publicly their desires to be part of their own government. That's in the Western Hemisphere, in the United States of America, by new Africans, African Americans in America, declared August 1st, 1920, that they wanted a government of their own. 25,000 black Africans. American-born Africans stood up in America 100 years ago, Black August 1920, and said, look here, we're not waiting for the white man. We're not going to wait for the white man to tell us what we want. No, these 25,000 Africans, along with the UNIA ACL, with the most honorable Marcus Garvey, decided to do it themselves. Key words, do it themselves. Do it themselves. Self-determination. Do it themselves. To hold a black plebiscite, an African plebiscite for a black government. How about that? How about that? How many knew that? How many Africans outside of North America knew that? That over here in the Western Hemisphere, it was a movement of Africans fighting and struggling for their own black government, for Africans home and abroad. Home and abroad. Home and abroad. In the Madison Square Garden, of all places. One of the highest symbols here in North America, the Madison Square Garden of New York City. These 25,000 Africans said enough is enough. Enough is enough. We want our own government. And they held the plebiscite. How many of you knew that? They held the plebiscite. And then 12 days later, guess what? 12 days later, guess what? August 13th, 12 days later, 100 years ago, 1920, August 13th, the Declaration of Rights of Negroes Peoples of the World was released. The Declaration of Rights of New African People of the world was released 100 years ago this summer. Every black across the world should be honoring and commemorating this monumental moment in history 100 years ago. 100 years ago. A century, people. A century of a struggle to have our own, to form our own government. Not wait for a white man to give it to us, form our own government. It's your human right. In the Declaration of Human Rights of International Law. Form your own government, hold your own plebiscite, declare independence on this day and this time, like the great Baba Haj Malik Shabazz said, by any means necessary. Garvey did that before Malcolm. Malcolm's daddy was a Garveyite, a president of the Garveyite movement in Nebraska. How many of y'all knew that? Haj Malik Shabazz is a descendant of the Garvey movement. Malcolm X is a descendant of the Malcolm X is a descendant of the Marcus Garvey movement. His mama and daddy were Garveyites. How many of you knew that? His daddy was flying the colors 100 years ago. Red, black, and green. And the most monumental moment of it all came 2 days later, 100 years ago. August 15th, 1920, the red, the black, the green flag was released to the world as the flag of new African peoples of the world. How about that? The red, black, and green was released to the world August 15, 1920. It's 2020 vision. 100 years ago, these colors are a century old this Black August. I recommend every African peoples and every new African peoples of the world to fly these colors all year long. Buy some beads, buy some flags, put it on your house, put it in your room, put it on your car. Fly these colors all 2020. August 15th, 1920, the red, black, and green flag was released to the world as the flag of new African peoples of the world. African peoples of the world. The fourth requirement out of the 5 requirements. The UNIACL Constitution by laws was in effect by July 1918. Number 5, one of the most important requirements out of the 5 requirements. Recognition by other governments was also accomplished. Listen closely. Recognition by other governments were also accomplished by our ancestors, in which there were 40 countries. 40 countries that had the UNIACL ambassador offices. Dr. Robert Brock was the last person to travel on a UNIACL government passport in the 1960s. How about that? How about that? How many of you knew that Africans from the UNIACL government had passports that were recognized by 40 countries? And the last member of that movement, Robert Brock, last flew his passport under the UNIACL government in 1960. This is self-determination. This is self-determination. We been did it. We already done it. We just fell off, people. We just fell off a little bit, but we still here. The movement is still moving. Whether you're a part of the UNIACL government or are you a part of the Republic of New African Provisional Government, it's still moving. It hasn't went nowhere. Whether you're part of the Moorish nation, it's still here. Whether you're part of the indigenous nations, it's still here. 2020 and beyond, we have to get our people focused on the biggest agenda of all is letting them know and getting them educated that they have a government. They have nations. We are nations. Nationalism. 2020 and beyond is the year of nationalism. Getting our people nationalized. We have been denationalized for so long that we don't even realize that these things exist. And they don't even realize countries recognize this. We had over 40 countries that recognized the UNIA ACL as a government, as a nation, a world government. All praises to Marcus Garvey, man. Marcus Garvey set the bar, man. Marcus Garvey set the bar. Arguably, our greatest leader outside of El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz. But we have many. Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali. I can go on for days of black nationalists and new African nationalists who have taught this history. And that's another subject and video I'm going to do in the coming weeks also in tribute to the UNIA ACL, Marcus Garvey, 100 years of creating the red, black, and green colors and pushing that black nationalism, pushing that African nationalism. I'm going to do a video on the founding fathers of all nationalism. And it's more than one. And I'm going to do a video on that also in the coming weeks. Last but not least, August 31st, 1920, 100 years ago, was declared a national holiday on this day in Harlem, New York, when the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League was declared a world government in the convention by plebiscite. In attendance, representing Africa and the diaspora. In honor of this achievement, Marcus Garvey is covered in the picture. The emphasis is on the internal legacy of Marcus Garvey and the UNIA in health care for Africa and the African diaspora. Let me say that one more time. August 31st, 1920, the UNIA ACL global government was established. Independence Day for the UNIA ACL is August 31st every year annually. It is declared a national holiday in Harlem, New York, 100 years ago this year. It was all done by a plebiscite. We have to get our people familiar with a plebiscite, which is a vote. It's a black African vote or an African vote if you don't like to use the color black. It's an African vote where you gather everybody of the African community and you vote on which way and what way we should take or go. Whether you want to be independent or, you want to stay a U.S. citizen. Or if you want to vote on bringing in a black government into existence, it's done through a plebiscite or done through a referendum. Write those two words down. Plebiscite and a referendum, which are two different things because it depends on how you adhere to either or. You see what I'm saying? But the ultimate goal of both is declaring independence. That is what a referendum is. Declaring an independent state, nation state. And you have to understand, this was like the largest movement in history at that point in time. This was the largest movement in that period in time. There were UNIA chapters all across the world, in Africa, in the Caribbean islands, in South America, in North America, in the South of North America, in Canada. You even had UNIA chapters in Europe. So this was a cohesive black organizing government that people became citizens of. We should honor that, commemorate that. 100 years this year that these colors were flown and independence was declared by the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the first provisional African government president. Marcus Garvey is the first honorable provisional president of the black government of the UNIA ACL. They have a constitution. They have a constitution and everything. So long live Marcus Garvey, man, and the UNIA ACL. If you don't know anything about that movement, you should look it up. It's the first biggest movement in history in the Western Hemisphere outside of the Haitian Revolution. Because I got to get a Haitian Revolution its props. I got to get a Republic of Haiti its props. Haiti its props. Because we got steps to this. It's steps to this. And then, you know, all the ancestors who also formulated their own states and settlements, you know, throughout the African diaspora, South America, all these areas. These type of things were popping up even during slavery. But we're talking about in the more modern history time of Marcus Garvey. So long live Marcus Garvey, man. Moving right on next to my most important topic that I wanted to touch on, that I wanted to get to right now, is the Make America Great Again slogan. And this is the thing that you need to understand, because a lot of people don't seem to get this, man. A lot of people seem not to get this. About that symbolism behind a Make America Great Again. And the crazy thing about it, I just don't seem to get it, man. Because I'm trying to figure out, when was America great for black people? When was America great for black people that lives in the Western, hemisphere in the United States of America? When was America ever great? America was founded on slavery. America was founded on slavery. And most of those enslaved people were Igbo people. So I don't understand Igbo people who support Donald Trump and support the Make America Great Again symbolism. I don't get it. It's the most mind-boggling, colonized thing that I can't seem to comprehend. I just can't comprehend it. How do you support a white nationalist Nazi slogan that was founded on the KKK and the Nazis of Germany? I don't get it. How do you support that? I don't get it. In the early 1920s, in the early 1900s, and even the late 1800s, when the KKK came into existence, this was one of their main slogans. The first slogan was America's First. You can go look this up. The first slogan out of the KKK was America First. This was in the early 1920s. The early 1920s is when this statement first appeared. The most noteworthy leader of the American First Committee was Charles Lindbergh, who sympathized with the Nazis and whose rhetoric was characterized by anti-Semitism and offensive stereotypes, including assertions that Jews posed a threat to the U.S. because of their influence in motion pictures, radio, the press, and the government. There are images and photos of KK members marching with the America's First banner that dates from the 1920s and can be found in the Getty Images archives. The Ku Klux Klan coin, actual token bearing the slogans America's First, preserve racial purity, the invisible empire, celebrated the centennial of the KKK's founding on the term and belief America's First. Make America Great Again is just a simple symbology of stating that make America white again. That's all it is. That's what it means. That's what the term America first meant. Because you got to understand, Africans wasn't Americans. Africans wasn't considered Americans. Blacks wasn't considered Americans in this time period. In time. In the late 1800s, in the early 1920s of the Jim Crow period. Blacks, African Americans, New Africans wasn't even considered Americans. So when this symbology first originated by the Ku Klux Klan and the white nationalists of that time period, blacks wasn't even considered Americans. And we know blacks wasn't considered Americans during slavery because we wasn't even considered human beings. And even in the Constitution, when the Constitution was first formatted, it stated clearly that black people were 3/5 of a human. We wasn't even recognized as humans. In the late 1800s and the early 1920s, when the KKK came up with this slogan, America's first, then comes make America great again, and then comes keep America great today. 3 symbologies of KKK, white nationalist slogans and rhetoric. How do you support that? As a black man, as a black woman, how do you support that? When the evidence and the research is there. Just go research it. It's there. I'm going to post this picture in this video comment box that states clearly right here. It states right here. It has a KKK hooded man on a horse. It has a KKK Klansman on a horse with a hood on, burning a cross, saying America is first. And it has all the clarified objectives of the KKK that Donald Trump still stands on today. He's against immigrants. He's against black people. He's against Chicano people. He's against certain religious segments and groups. This is what the KKK was founded on. The KKK didn't like immigrants. They didn't like black people. They didn't like certain religious sects. They didn't like certain religious sects, the KKK. They didn't like black people. They didn't like immigrants. Who does that sound like today? Donald Trump. How hard is this to comprehend? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. Make America great required exclusion, intolerance, and vitriol. Unfortunately for the Klan, their message of 100% Americanism started losing ground by the end of the 1920s. Listen to what I'm saying. Connect the dots. The KKK created Make America Great Again. Because even back in the 1920s, this is what revitalized the KKK movement, because they felt like they were losing ground because more blacks were gaining equal opportunity, more immigrants were coming to America, more religious sects were getting more equal opportunities, along with their white nationalist Christian rhetoric. And a lot of black people were murdered. A lot of black people were murdered by the KKK. A lot of black people were murdered by the KKK under these type of slogans and rhetoric. So why would somebody get mad at a black who's born here in America, who's defending the dignity and the humanity of black people that have been slaughtered, killed, hung by ropes, just like Laura Nelson and L.D. Nelson in 1911, 109 years ago? Black people were being lynched, murdered, hung by ropes, thrown off bridges, body parts castrated under slogans that manifested from the KKK. Why would they think we would support that? Why would any black person in America or the world support that? When you know the brutal history of America. When was America great for people of color? Somebody please explain this to me. When was America great for people of color? We've been under slavery for 300 years. Our ancestors, Igbos, who are also enslaved on this landmass, were enslaved for 300 years since the origin of this country. On plantations, enslaved, murdered, genocided on plantations in North America for 300 years. And then after slavery, Jim Crow lasted for another 100 years. Jim Crow lasted for another 100 years, and the terrorists, KKK, Ku Klux Klan, came into existence to keep that genocide continue, murdering blacks all across the South, in the Midwest, all the way to the mid-plains of America, murdering black people. And Donald Trump took this slogan from the KKK, Make America Great Again. From America's first all the way up to now, keep America great. Keep it for who? White people, not colored people, not brown people, not black people, not religious sects that they don't agree with. Go research the KKK history. He's repeating everything that the KKK did in the early 1920s and the late 1880s. It's facts. This ain't lies, but the people who don't research ain't going to go look it up because it's going to destroy their reality. It's going to destroy everything that they claim that they're supporting. When they find out that this is the most racist slogan in history of North America. And it has a racist origin and chronology. Who was the biggest supporters of Donald Trump and still are? White nationalists, Nazis, KKK, David Duke. These people helped him win office. A terrorist organization helped him win office. Who's at the Make America Great Again rallies? Who's at the Keep America Great rallies? Racists who kill and murder and hate black people. What were they doing at the first presidential race that Donald Trump, when he became president, what were they doing to black people at these rallies? They were beating up black people, smacking black women. They were beating up on young black people. They were beating up on young black sisters, throwing them out of racist conventions. Donald Trump telling them out loud, get them out of here. Get who out of there? Get those black out of here. Black people were getting thrown out of Donald Trump rallies all through his first presidential campaign. And you got to be a sick black or a sick African to believe that America, Make America Great Again, represents you. How? How? How does Make America Great Again represent you? How? Show me a period in time when America was great. Show it to me. Prove it to me. And I'm speaking specifically for black people and African people. When was America great for us? Show me. But you got Africans who live outside the country expect black people in America to support that? Never. Never. We would never support that. We would never support Donald Trump. We don't care how much you insane, colonized Africans are outside of America. We would never support that. We got more respect for our people than that. We would never support that. All the way to our African ancestors that were enslaved on these lands for 300 years. All the Igbo ancestors that were brought here from West Africa that was enslaved on this land for 300 years. We would never turn our back on that. We would never disrespect our Igbo ancestors. Never. Never. You by Africans disrespect your Igbo ancestors, but us Africans, new Africans in America, we're not disrespecting our Igbo ancestors that was enslaved on this land. And I'm speaking from Igbo descendants. I'm speaking for Igbo descendants that's born in America. We would never disrespect the Igbo ancestors that were enslaved on this land by supporting Make America Great Again, disrespecting our ancestors. Make America Great Again. America had slavery for 300-something years. And damn near 400 years. And it's still continuing through mass incarceration, racial discrimination, mass incarceration. Over 5 million people are incarcerated in America today, and the majority is black. So when we say Make America Great Again, what are you talking about? For who? White people benefit off America, not black people. White people benefit off America, not black people. So what are you exactly supporting? So yes, if I see any African wearing Make America Great Again, yes, I'm calling you out. And I don't care if you like it or not. It's a sickness for any black and any African anywhere in the world to support the Make America Great movement when you know it's founded from the KKK. It came from the KKK. Look at the links in this description box soon as you get off this live. I have the description. I have the evidence in the description box of this video that a Make America Great Again is the most racist slogan and white nationalist slogan in history. How dare you disrespect yourself by supporting that? How dare you disrespect your ancestors by supporting that? And then you expect blacks, 45 million blacks in America, to support that because you want to be free in Nigeria? Hey, we can't do it. We can't do it. We can't support that. You might as well unfollow me, delete me, or whatever you got to do. We can't support that. We don't support white nationalism. We don't support KKK rhetoric. We don't support white Nazi rhetoric. Because you people at the end of the day, you never had to live this way. You never had to live under these people. You never had to live with these people. You never had to witness your people being hung by ropes. You never had to witness your people being castrated from their body parts. You never had to witness your people set on fire. You never had to witness these things for 300 years. I ain't talking about no 50 years. You heard what I said, 300 years. I'm not talking about 1 year out of a decade. I'm talking 300 years. 300 years of genocide under white nationalism, under Make America Great Again, under America's First, under Keep America Great. My people had to suffer these horrific and still suffer these horrific genocidal terroristic acts from this terrorist government and terrorist groups. Still getting genocided in the same way. They still got blacks being found hung on ropes here in North America by white KKK nationalist members. And these people support Donald Trump. Donald Trump yells all day long white supremacy rhetoric. And you want us to support that because you want to be free over there? We can't do it. We can't do it. Sorry. Can't do it. Can't do it. Sorry. I don't care who your leader is. Can't do it. My leader was Malcolm X. How about that? My leader was Malcolm X. He was murdered by this government. Assassinated by this government. Many of my leaders were assassinated by this government. Many of my leaders are still behind bars today, political prisoners, because of this government. We can't support that. Sorry. Can't support that. We don't support Make America Great Again. Can't do it. Won't happen. Get mad. We don't care. Because all you can do is report my page like you already done and got me blocked because you hate the truth. Because you hate the truth. Sorry. And that ain't going to stop me also. So on that note, I'm going to sign off on that note, man. Haki Kweli Shakur, man, a.k.a. E.K. Chukwu, man. Shout out to all the righteous Africans. Shout out to all the real Biafrans, the real ones. 100 years. Red, black, and green colors this year. 100 years of the first plebiscite for a black government, a new African government. Let's uplift this. Let's commemorate this. Let's honor the UNIA, ACL, Marcus Garvey all year long, man. A century of us fighting. How about that? 100 years of us fighting for our own government. That should get the highest veneration, the highest praise this year. 100 years of Garvey, man. 100 years of red, black, and green. We created this in the Western Hemisphere. We created these colors. Marcus Garvey, baby. We created this. We established the first government for black nationalism, new African nationalism in Harlem, New York, in the Madison Square Garden. 25,000 Africans born in America. How about that? Declared a black plebiscite here in North America in the Madison Square Garden. August 1st, 1920. August 13th, these colors were created. August 15th, the UNIA, Marcus Garvey, dispersed this flag and colors to the world for the Africans home and abroad. So all Africans across the world, please honor Marcus Garvey, man. Honor the greatest movement that ever was created in history. The UNIA, ACL. This man had over 3 million followers. This man had over 300 million followers. 3 million citizens in the Western Hemisphere under the black government, the African government of the UNIA, ACL in Harlem, New York. We don't side with white nationalism. We don't side with European imperialism. We don't side with that. We done felt the grunt. We done felt the grunt and the tyrannical effects of white nationalism and European imperialism. We had to live with these people for 400 years, not two people outside of America. We had to live with these white races for 400 years. We have Igbo ancestors who were hung by trees. We have Igbo ancestors that were set on fire on this soil. You ain't the only one that was genocided. Igbo people were genocided on this land in slavery when this country was founded off of their labor, off of their hard labor. They worked for free for 300 years. My ancestors, my Igbo ancestors on this land, not Africa, this land, were genocided by the same people who created the Make America Great Again slogan. America first, transform it to Make America Great Again and to keep America great again. It doesn't include us. We're not included. We're not part of that, we're not part of that inclusion. Because black and brown people are still being genocided in this country by these white racists that support Donald Trump every day. See, that's the only reason why I don't get upset. Because I know the Africans that live outside America, they don't live here. So they can't tell me what I see here. They can't tell me, about us protecting our children. We are scared every time our children leave the house because we don't know when one of those Donald Trump supporters or those white racist police officers going to pull one of our sons and daughters over and pull a gun out on them and murder them in cold blood and get off. Don't go to jail. Don't get no time. So you can report my page. I don't care. We freedom fighters. We don't care. You can report my page because you love and idol worship human beings. You worship man. You worship women. You worship man and woman. I don't. You worship leaders. I don't. We are for the people. We are for oppressed people. The people is the power. Nobody is above the people. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. Nobody is above the people. No one. I don't care what leader you are. You're not above the people. I'm with the people. We servants of the people. That's what a real revolutionary is, in case people don't understand that. A revolutionary is a servant of the people. They don't worship leaders. They don't worship man. They don't worship women. No, they serve the oppressed people, the oppressed communities. And I know a lot of y'all don't understand that. A lot of y'all don't come from that. But we come from powerful movements over here. We've been fighting white supremacy and white nationalism for 400 years. And we're not going to stop. Nobody's going to silence us. Nobody's going to force us to side with people that we know for a fact that we can't side with. Because we have movements periodically through history that wanted their own government on this land, not Africa. I can't help you not educated on that. I can't help you. Your education has been stripped of you while you were in Africa, that you couldn't learn about the freedom fighting struggle over here in America. I can't help you on that. But it's not too late because you can still learn that. Because we in the information age. We got the cell phones. Go look it up. Go look at the black struggle over here. The colors you flying came from somebody over here, not over there. The colors that's on your... Hold on, man. Hold on, man. Hold on. Hold on. These colors right here came from Marcus Garvey, not your people over there. These colors are Marcus Garvey colors. A black from the Western Hemisphere. You can get mad all you want. You can hate all you want. But this is long live the General Ojukwu, who overstood and was a principal African freedom fighter who got these colors from Marcus Garvey. He made this flag to honor Marcus Garvey. This is where this flag come from. Marcus Garvey. To honor Marcus Garvey, a black from United States of America. I'm going to sign off on that note. 100 years. 100 years, man. Free the land by any means necessary, man. We created these colors. Free the land.